Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the European crossover webinar. And obviously, we're seeing some volatility in the markets. As you know, Trump tested positive for coronavirus, and we've seen a pretty good sell-off in equities. We'll get to that. We'd actually seen the market rebound to about the 50% portion. You can see here. I had actually posted this in the chat room right when we were here, saying this was a support area, and we did go and hold it. There was a couple of dips back, but we started working a little bit higher, and we came up here, and you can see here they ran out of gas here at the 50% of this range here from 303 on up to 606, yesterday's afternoon high, and then this was also the 61%, 161% of this, where we rallied up here to 423. And then drop back down here to 373, 161% came up to 11,452. They came up just a little bit shy of that, but you can see here, we came in right into same day VWAP. The market was thought they might be able to push up a little bit higher to spook some stops, but they did run out of gas. And then you can see this bar, enveloped the closes of the last three bars right here. Actually, the last four bars. And then we saw the market kind of hold, but we couldn't get back above these highs, and then that opened the door for us to move higher. We'd actually moved on a buy mode in the 5-minute moving averages, but that's turned around and flipped back down and pushed the pressure down here. Taking a look at the S&Ps, let's take a look here. Pretty much the same thing happening here in the S&Ps, although I don't follow that as closely. Although I do keep an eye on it, but just don't follow it as closely. We're moving back in here to the Nasdaq. We can take a look quickly on the gold market. So you can see here we're pressuring. Lots of times what will happen is if you generate a buy signal like we do here, and then you turn around and flip back lower, it generally adds on extra pressure, because what happens is we're in a buy mode, and then anybody that got long, I don't know why they get long, but anybody that got long here, then they're going to go on and find themselves with stops below here, and then anybody was getting short, that's going to accelerate, and you see here this big acceleration, and then you keep this downside. I was even thinking about here, and I'm looking here and I go, this is some support, but we pop up only a little bit and we come right back down, pop up a little bit and come right back down. So you can see the momentum is clearly on the downside. And I don't mean from this area, that's probably clear, but I'm just saying right here, even though we'd already fallen so far and we came into some support, we made another low. Okay, well, now it looks like it can hold. Then we make another low. So even though we tried to make attempts to hold, we may here, the bounces have not been very much. I mean, the momentum's so strong. And once again, like I said, if you look in here, you're thinking, okay, now we got a buy mode. Let's be careful. Let's see how far we can push up. And we kind of struggle up in here. And people are going to say, some people might go with the momentum, say, okay, well, I'm long now. And but I'll have my stops just below here, there, below right here. And then as you struggle up in here, people start to get short. So then once you hit this area, it really starts to accelerate. There might be some people that are short here, and they'll say, I'll add on some more here. There might be some people say, well, if it breaks here, then I'll definitely get short. And then anybody that got long on this move, they're like, okay, well, if it breaks here, I'll have to get out. So that's what I'm saying. The take, what I'm trying to say is that lots of times we get a swing here, we get the cross for a buy and a moving average. And if you flip back rather quickly, it wasn't too quickly, but we didn't last very long. Generally, you'll see that move push even further. You'll see more follow through on that, and that follow through comes in rather quickly, because then you've got people that are trapped that may have been long, people that are saying this is a good area to get short, but I won't get short until it breaks here. People got short right up in here and say, I'll add, and so that's why you get this big swing potentially that pushes down here. Just want to explain that. Looking at gold, we're pushing up higher. Pedro had asked about the dollar and what was the impacts. And my take to him was, look, I can't imagine anybody wants to go on and be long risk over the weekend. So I think we're going to see pressure. The one thing that makes it kind of questionable here is because we do have NFP today, but I think that we're going to be on the downside, because remember, we have already had a pretty nice little rally on here. You can see here we're kind of coming back off. That's on the gold market, but here on the Nasdaq, look at that. From Thursdays, we've got a long ways we can still come back on. And now, as far as the dollar, you think, okay, risk off, going to the dollar. But don't forget where the problem's there. It's right here in the States, because Trump is sick, and how much risk does that cause? And so I don't think you'd want to be in the dollar. I told him my thing would be then I'd rather be bid gold. I don't think anybody would want to be long risk over the weekend. That might favor the dollar, but I think that move into the dollar will be rather short-lived, and probably your better take would be to be long gold or long the yen. I would think. Um, with that, we're going to move into, oh, let's go and pull up the economic data. Nothing, although we do have HICP flash at top of this next hour. Well, obviously the big mover is going to be non-farm payrolls. This could be a disappointment. Once again, I don't know how this is going to go and play out now because we've already seen a pretty good fall. There was also a story I saw. I don't know what popped up, but I saw it. I think someone tweeted it or something. But anyway, it was about Yahoo thing. But anyways, the option whale was big in the market, and that's the person or individual that's buying all these options in the Nasdaq stocks. We can tell you that dude, he's underwater. Okay, so you can forget about those options. That stuff is underwater. Okay, so ain't no way this sucker's going to come all the way back up here. So that mofo is underwater. So you can forget about that being able to press the market. It could have added an extra little bit up in here. That being said, non-farm payrolls, who knows how it's going to go and play out. I just think that any rallies they're going to be sold into. I don't think anybody wants to be long risk going into the weekend because you don't know what, like I said, they just say Trump's recovering, but what if he gets a little bit worse? Although I wouldn't expect that. The White House didn't share anything. You can't, it's not being political. You can't trust this White House for nothing. They're not the ones that announced that he had the virus. The way it came out, and for those of you that don't know that aren't here in the States, the news had actually broken much earlier. Bloomberg broke the report. And it was from inside, and then other reporting agencies confirmed it. The White House was in the dark or stayed dark across the entire time until Trump came on to Sean Hannity and said, oh, my aide, what's her name, Hicks, can't remember her first name anyway offhand, but it has tested positive. We're taking a test, but waiting our test. White House was just, what is it called? Zero black or whatever. They don't provide any information. Remember back in November, Trump went to Walter Reed, unannounced visit and said, oh, it's routine. You can't believe this White House for nothing. And I'm not trying to be political. I'm just saying it is, you can't count those people to be honest with you. So what I'm saying is I don't think, he could end up getting sick over the weekend. He's supposedly okay recovering, but once again, his aide Hope Hicks, from what they were saying, she's pretty sick and she's home and she's very sick. Her symptoms started showing, I think they said on Wednesday, so she's fairly sick. And sometimes you don't see these symptoms, and that she's got pretty good symptoms. He may not get sick or further sick maybe until, let's say, over the weekend. So he could come in, and who knows. So once again, I don't, that's why I think that we'll be risk off. I don't think people want to be long indices. And don't forget, it's not like we're hugging at the bottom. We've already had a pretty nice run in these indices. That being said, Pedro once again had asked about the dollar. I don't think the dollar may get a minor bit. I just don't see it because once again, where's the issue? Here. So if you're going to be in currencies, I'd rather be long the yen and then or bid in gold. That's what I would think. But anyway, that being said, we do have non-farm payroll. I don't think any of these numbers really matter here. How much the payroll thing? I mean, they're looking for 850,000. Obviously, it's weaker or whatever. It may be weaker. It's going to have some impact, but I think it's going to be, honk the submarine horn. Hey, this market's going down. Let's see. Then we go on to University of Michigan. That'll be out at 10 a.m. Eastern, as well as durable goods. But like I said, I think they'll be selling into this. Obviously, you're seeing it right now. We did a rally to 50%, and here we are weaker. Okay, so, and like I said, that guy, the whale was in there. I saw the story in Asia, and that would have been a thought that they could push these NASDAQ stocks. Well, he can push them all he wants. They'll gladly unload it to him. So that being said, let's go on and move into the analysis. Bear with me. Oh, we did have the story, so I don't think they're necessarily important because we already know what's going on, but we will take a poke on them. Aussie and New Zealand dollars trip after Trump tests COVID positive. Australia and New Zealand dollars slipped on Friday as bonds jumped as risk appetite soured after President Trump tested positive. Analysts said the outcome could cause a wave of market volatility, but ahead of hotly contested presidential election. What caught a lot of people's attention was the 5% sell-off in copper, though, and that had a lot of people talking. So watch the daily chart of copper. It could be very telling from here, and the ideas of trading reflation fiscal is key for that. Now, Blank had mentioned something about the copper. I saw that yesterday, him making a notation about that, if I remember correctly. Once again, you can hit the hot spots, the highlights, because I don't think there's anything that we don't already know. See how this weakness remains, and that's what I was telling you earlier. Is that, like I said, we generate this buy signal, and I've noticed it lots of times. Is that some of the best signals? This wasn't so quick. I mean, it took a little bit of time, but generally, when you get something like this and then it quickly goes, the pressure stays very strong, because, like I said, people go, okay, it's time to get long, so I'll get long. I'm just playing the technicals, and then they get long, and as we move higher, they go, well, I'll put my stop just under where I got long, so it's going to be right there, okay? And then you get some people that go, hey, man, I want to get short. We're up at the fibs. I'm going to get short. So they put their get short here, and they say, some of them might say, I'll add if we break to new lows. The other person goes, man, I want to be short, but I don't know if it's going to push higher. I'll tell you what, I'll put some new shorts in when it gets here. So then you run into this avalanche, and that's why you generally see this big fall through. And like I told you, see here, I was like, this isn't bad. We drop lower. Well, this isn't bad. We come back up. Well, this one isn't bad. We come and we just keep dropping lower. The momentum is so strong when you generally see something like that. To me, it's one of the best signals that I see when I see something like that. This wasn't so quick. I mean, it did, but I'm talking about generally when you see something like this, and then it quickly rolls over just a few bars. Generally, like but you're seeing it even here. The momentum is just so strong because, like I said, the people that did get long, well, they're knocked out. The people that were getting short, they probably added on here, and the people who wanted to be short said, well, I'll get short if we get here. So they're, anybody that got knocked out, they're not about to come back in. They may right in here, we've got some support, but why you see generally this move really extend. Yen jumps after Trump tests positive. We talked about that. Dollar rose, safe haven yen made it to the sharpest jump in more than a month. Trump tests positive. President of the United States got a disease that kills people. People are de-risking because that's Chris Western. Chris Western and other analysts said Trump's diagnosis could hurt his campaign, but the next implications were not clear. What would depend? Look, I'm not going to get political, but I think that goose has sailed. You know what I'm saying? And if anything, this basically cemented it. You know what I mean? And like I said, not being political, I'm just giving you the facts here. We have 205,000 people have died in this country. We've got 4% of the population, but we got 20% of the world's deaths. We've had, I think, 2 million already people infected. I mean, it's just been, I'm just giving you the facts, folks. It's just poor policy. And this basically just put a frame on it right there. And that's not being political. I'm just telling you, like I said, so this whole idea, man, it just basically the goose is cooked. That bird has left the thing. I just don't see it. And I've been thinking about that already really for more than a month, but it's more pushing that even further. So enough of that. Let's go on and get on to the analysis. Like I said, not here to be political. It's not about being political. I did some talk also about on Twitter, and I mentioned also in the chat room about the expectations of the stimulus bill. People were all, cranked up about that. And I kept saying why it wasn't going to happen. And, once again, I wasn't being political. I said, it's not political. It's just, how's the market going to react? And I told you, look, Pelosi, there's no way she was ever going to go on and compromise to what the Republicans wanted. And that's why she's pushing for the much higher amount, the 2.2 trillion. I said, it's not going to happen. Even if they have the vote, big deal if you have a vote and you approve 2.2 trillion, but the other side only wants like 1.6 or 1.2. That doesn't mean anything. It does, and obviously you saw the market going and come off. But I'm saying is, Pelosi, despite all the jokes, a lot of people like say she's a shrewd operator. And once the Republicans, I said that, pushed that Supreme Court justice nomination, man, the water was poisoned, and she was going to make them pay the price. And that's why there was no stimulus deal, even though people were thinking there was going to be a stimulus deal. There wasn't, unless the Republicans were going to say, okay, we'll give you the 2.2 trillion, and they weren't going to. So there was not going to be no deal. So you can forget about some deal being signed all of a sudden magically tomorrow, unless the Republicans just bend over and just say, okay, we'll give you whatever you want. Okay, that being said, let's go and move into the analysis quickly. Yeah, Mark says, can you look at the Dow and its levels? Okay, I'll quickly look. I mean, it's not one market that I even follow really. Let me look at the 2-hour chart. I don't even know if I even have the Dow anymore. Hold on, maybe it's on the 30-minute. Yeah, down the 30-minute. So let's open this up. Well, you can see right here, I already had the levels here, even though I don't follow as closely. You can see the 351. We've even, even had like a mini hammer and they rallied. And you can see on my exponential moving averages, which I use on the 30-minute chart and I use 5-minute, you can see they rallied right to the lower one. You can see they flipped into sell mode here. So they ran out of gas. But yeah, your levels right here is going to be the 11,451. I didn't even have that. I just had that from before. So 11,451 here. Oh, that's Nasdaq. Sorry. Let's go back to the Dow. Sorry about that. So it had a similar, but not as key hammer. But you can see where they ran out of gas here. This is a huge area. That's where we got it in bold, which is this 27,421. If, and that's if it were to rally, here's where you'd be looking for to run out of gas, which is 27,569. So, and actually the Dow's holding up pretty well compared to the NASDAQ. So if we do pop up, you'd be looking for the market to run out of gas in this zone, which is from 27,571 to 27,619. So you're not risking too much, but that would be a good zone. Or if the market could rally, you'd want to be into that, looking to sell into that. But here's the deal. It's holding up much better than, let's say, the NASDAQ. You see here? So it's holding up. It's better. So like I said, one thing I've learned over the years is it is better. Sell the weaker sister. You see what I'm saying? So lots of times I've made those mistakes, and you can see here we've had a pretty decent move here in the S&Ps. So I'd be like, oh well, I want to sell. In this case, we've held up much better. But I'm saying sometimes you go, oh well, there's a better value. I think it'll fall better from this one. Well, we're actually holding up. We haven't done too bad here. Look at the Dow futures, and look at the Nasdaq. We've had actually a better pull here in the Nasdaq. You can see how strong that. Look at that bearish engulfing bar. It's much weaker here in the Nasdaq than it is in the Dow. You see how the Dow's holding up really well. So if I was going to be short, I'd be more inclined to go with the Nasdaq because it's had such a big move and it's got a higher beta. It reacts more fast. But once again, if you're looking at the levels, obviously important is 414. But your zone, or if you were saying, I want to short here, I want to short here, I want to short, your zone for them to run out of gas with volume is going to be 27,571 to 27,621. So you got this zone here. That's where they'd be run out of gas if they can push a rally. And I really wouldn't count on it, but anything can happen. But you're better off, like I said. Someone asked me earlier in the session, I've been up all night. Hey, well, what do you think? Whatever. And I said, just sell. I mean, pick areas to go and get short because I think that no one's going to want to hold risk into the weekend because who knows what if he gets even more sick. So you could end up seeing a market gap lower on a Sunday night opening. So I think we'll be under pressure all day. You see what I'm saying? So any rallies you want to use that, and you could probably feel that, hey, look, you'll have the momentum going with you. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'll give you an example. I had looked here and I thought, oh, maybe I should just try and pick it up here. It's falling so fast. And, but I didn't. And I said, well, what about here? Look, it took out the new lows. And look, it barely even went up because I was thinking like as if I was in there. And I'd only been up like maybe 10 ticks. And then we dropped down. Okay, well, we went to new lows. Now it's going to hold. And you see here, the momentum's so strong. So you're going against the momentum. You're going against the tide. So you're better off selling because percentage-wise, you have a lot more room for error if you're going with the momentum. Even if you don't pick a good area to get short, the fact that we just keep pressing the lows, you and no guarantees, but you have a better chance of getting your money back as opposed to if you say, I'm going to step in here and buy, you got the momentum going against you. You can quickly just be underwater. So I just want to go and share that. We'll go on and move into the FX. Karina says hi. She said, good point. Euro dollar, please. Yeah, we're going to get right to the euro dollar. So we're moving into FX, Irina, so bear with me. Look, and like I said, I'm not trying to be political, although I don't make no bones about it. I certainly don't care for him at all because of all the damage he's done to the country and all the angst and stuff like that. But that being said, I'm just giving you my take on how it's going to impact trading in the market. And that's what you're here for. You're not here for me to be a rah-rah leader for one side or the other side. But, like I said, I will tell you how it potentially will impact and, why I think that, this is going to happen. Just like I went into detail about the stimulus bill. Yesterday, I said, it's not going to happen. And I was telling, not only in the chat, I did on Twitter, why it wouldn't happen and how it would play out, and pretty much played out just like that. So you can see we're under some pretty good pressure here. You see these gaps here. So remember I told you there was that story about, the whales back in. We got a bunch of Nasdaq options expiring today. And yeah, you can see here, we've closed up real strong here. So maybe they could have pushed them even higher. We ain't going nowhere. I can tell you that right now. We ain't going nowhere. If they want to push them up, there'll be a lot of people happy to sell in here and happy to sell in here. So that whale, he lost on his options. I can guarantee you that. So let's go on and move into the euro dollar. Hang on. Let's move into that and get ready. Now, I did open up the door, wider than we normally would, but not as big as I did as normal because it's NFP day. So obviously we're going to see some movement. So let's go move into the daily chart and we'll take it from there. We're on the euro. And you can see here, we haven't even moved that much. So you can see here, they came off. And now they pop right back. And that's what I was telling you. You think, well, they must be rushing into the dollar. But I told you, where's the problem? It's here in the States. So why would you want to be long the dollar? You see what I'm saying? So if you're going to be long anything, get long the yen or get long gold. But anyway, I'm saying if you're looking at going into the weekend. So that being said, the euro closed slightly higher on Thursday ahead of NFP. Resistance on Friday will be 1806, which I don't think that's going to be the case now. Was supported 1657. We'll stay with the 1657, but what we'll do is we'll drop the 1806. So we got the 1658, and we'll keep that right there. And on the upside, instead of 1806, because once again, I don't think anything is going to move with any great significance unless you want to play the yen pairs. So on the upside, we will look for 1790. And that might even be a little bit rich. Okay, let's go move into the cable. Okay, Arena says, agree, Polly, I was a seller of euro since yesterday. Okay, thank you. Okay, you're welcome. And like I said, and honestly, I haven't even traded the euro in a while because I've been so involved with the Nasdaq, and I used to scalp the euro a lot. And what happened was, remember how dead it'd been? Although the FX is on fire now. So man, I was even considered jumping into the cable and said, nah, just wait. But like I said, the pairs are moving, and Amanda's been killing it lately. But I've just been so involved with Nasdaq because, like I said, then I started following all the individual individual equities, and that's helped me. But that takes so much of my time. It really takes a lot out of me. But like I said, the takes I'd give you trying to get like I told you before, I base my levels on the previous day close and then look at where there's the most touches for when we could move in volume. I thought we would potentially get up to 1806, but now, like I said, in light of everything that's happening, I just don't see where any of the currencies are going to be bid, with the exception of the yen. So let's go on, like I said, enough of that. Let's go into the cable. This has been all over the place, but so cable closed with a medium-legged doji on Thursday. You can see that medium-legged doji meaning long. Well, it's not a super long wick, but that's what I'm saying, medium. And then you close in the middle, which technically means bulls don't have control because we finished down here. Bears don't have control, so you push down here. And generally, what happens is you look at the range, and that means that you'll pull back. But once again, it's not a long-legged doji, so which happens then. But it's medium-legged. So once again, we're a little bit weaker, so we have potential to work a little bit lower. Cable closed with a medium-legged doji on Thursday. Resistance on Friday will be 29.73. We'll stay with that one. We're supported 28.06. We may slide a little bit. Might be a little bit on the strong side, but once again, if they're weak, they may want to go that direction. So 29.73, 28.06. Yeah, there we go. So hang on. And let's go and move into the Aussie dollar. Now, this was certainly impacted by risk. So, and I do the analysis in Asia. So we'll take a look at it. And so it says the Aussie furthered its gains on the rise in equities. Resistance on Friday will be 72.20. with support at 71.03. You can see we took this dip here. But once again, they're not rushing into the dollar. You see here? Because we should have seen this thing go whoop, all the way down here, maybe like to here. We're not seeing it. Although I don't think we're going to get to 72.20. No, I'll just go with the high right there. We'll call that. And let's take a look here. 72.08. And once again, because of NFP, if it comes in weaker, you may see some spikes. And if we do, you want to keep track of this, because one thing is, even if you do see spikes, I think they'll be short-lived. Because once again, unless you're playing the yen or the gold, I think we'll end up coming back in. But I don't think the dollar's going to do all that well. Because once again, bear with me, because of, the risk is here. So it doesn't make any sense. Where the heck am I? Don't go on it. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Although, yeah, couldn't remember. Support is 71.03. Okay. Okay, let's go and take a look at the Kiwi. And Kiwi kept the charge to the upside going. Resistance on NFP day will be 69.62. Well, we don't expect that now, which, 66.92. Like I said, if we get a weak NFP, you could see a quick little spike. That's not, I don't really see that. Let's go right here. And support at 65.92. See this bar right there? We'll go with that. 66.74. But I would fade spikes if it goes that way. And the downside was 65.95. Dollar CAD. The dollar CAD tagged the bias chart support at 32.68 because that was our support yesterday. 32.68. See that we tagged it. On Thursday, support on NFP day will be 32.24 with resistance at 33.82. I don't think we'll see 33.82 in light of everything once again. So right to the low, 33.48. Anything's possible, so you got to be careful today in light of everything that's happening. And then we have NFP and 32.24. Let's go move into the dollar peso. Nasdaq is moving up. Dollar peso finished on the low. Support on Friday will be 21.72 with with resistance at 2202. Looks like we did pop up to about 2208 in this news, but once again, we'll go with right here, this low here, which is going to be 22. Well, that is 2202. So I did have that right, 2202. I don't think we're going to see this, but I did have it marked for 72. So let's go with it. We'll stay with that. Let's go with the peso. Peso, I mean yen. Dollar yen, you can see here. I think I had that one though. As far as the support for 512, so it could have been lower, but we had 5 here. This one's tricky. We may still come down here. So I'm going to go with the low right here, which is that bar here, 478. And the upside, I wouldn't trust it. Well, there is the 571, which I had. We'll keep it, 571. Cash dollar index. Dollar just closed slightly lower on Thursday. Support on Friday will be 93.39 with resistance at 94.33. I'd actually potentially look for this to go lower. I would say 93.24. Upside, the low right here, 94.20. Kiwi yen. $70.29 on the upside. We'll keep that. And downside, we had 69.54. Let's go right there, 69.44. Euro yen. Let's see here. Upside 24.10. Yep, I like that 24.10. Downside 23.27. No, it has to be lower. I'd go right there, 22.81. Once again, favoring the yen pairs. Euro odd. We had the 64.10. We had 63.77. Obviously, they pushed higher. I wouldn't. We're still above it, so I have to respect it. So we'll say the 64.10. Gotta respect it. But it's open to move a little bit weaker. Let's just go right there, 63.27. Euro Kiwi. 76. I'm going to go with that. 76.37. Hit that. We're on that level. And upside. Today's high. I'm not going to look for anything beyond that. 77.04. If it gets above it, then fine. But I'm not looking for too much there. ASEAN. 75.72. Downside 74.84. I'm just going with the levels. Next one, Guppy. Same thing, the yen, and we've actually come off these lows. Going with the levels, 35.26. I think we had that yesterday. Sure did. Upside, just going with the levels. Actually, not this level. We'll go right there with the close, 36.22. I think today can be a tricky day. I would look to fade spikes in many of these pairs, like the Aussie, the Kiwi, the Euro. I would look for them to come back in, to pair back in. But once again, like I said, I would be a buyer of the dollar. The dollar, we may see the dollar work its way. But once again, like I said, the issue's down here. Why can't it be long dollars? Leslie the odd. Pretty good strong move here. It's going to be the resistance is going to be this low on this bar. You see that? That low. Oh, we did get there. 80.75. Took it out by a few pips. And support on the downside. Well, we already came down here. So just once again, go to level 79.50. But I think we've already put in the low. And that'll be it. I'll get the bias chart posted and we'll see you in the chat room. And good luck trading. And thanks for joining us here on the European Crossover webinar.